Good evening, everybody. This is the Planning Board meeting of August 27th, 7 o'clock in Town Hall, room number 4. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And just a reminder, this is being telecast by Area 58. I'll be taking over tonight from Bruce Mackey as he is on vacation this week. Okay. First off, we have...
So our first item is receipt of plans for 38 and 44 Lakeview Street, David Eleanor Eldridge, map 7, lots 22 and 24. And tonight we're receiving the plans. I don't know if you want to speak to the plans tonight?
Well, it's entirely up to you. I'm Bob Rogers from GAF Engineering. Mr. Eldridge is with me here tonight. I understand it's just to receive the plans, but we're here just in case any of the board members had any questions.
Okay. Generally, do we accept the plans at the first meeting, and then at the September meeting, which is the next meeting, the board will vote to endorse on the plans.
Okay, and so then in the meantime, if you had any questions or comments about the plan, you'd get a hold of us.
Right. So I'll do, generally what I do is try to, between the meetings, I'll meet with our building commissioner, we'll look at the plans, and if we have any questions, we'll get in touch with you so that we can, you'll have an opportunity, if there's any need for adjustments, to make those adjustments between now and the September 10th meeting.
Sure. Nope, that'd be great. It's just, it's 2 existing house lots, and we want 2 more, so be a total of 4 lots where there's 2 now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
Thanks for coming in.
Yep.
Okay. Next is minor modification, Patriot Pines off South Meadow Street, Phase 1 road and drainage updates.
Good evening. Sarah Stearns from Beals and Thomas, and with me is Jim Bristol and Lauren Tripp representing the applicant. We spoke a couple weeks ago about this minor modification application, which essentially, if you recall, Patriot Pines, a townhouse development, 55 and over. Really, we're just talking about the first phase closest to South Meadow Road, currently under construction. And essentially, it's a minor reconfiguration of the townhouses of phase 1, and then the associated grading and stormwater management that went along with that reconfiguration. So the layout has not changed dramatically at all, other than the townhouse locations and orientation slightly. But essentially all in the same footprint, the roadways are in the same footprint, and all of that is unchanged from the approved plan. We have been working with Carver Fire Department. If you recall, last meeting they had a couple of questions that were unresolved. We have since resolved them. There was no need to change the plans from what we submitted based on that. That's okay. And also have tied up some loose ends with the town's peer review engineer, Fuss & O'Neill. We've received final comments that discuss consensus on the remaining issues on August 23rd from both Carver Fire and Fuss & O'Neill. Really just a couple of technical questions that we just sorted out, but again, no plan changes resulted from those conversations, so we're still talking about the same plans that were submitted to you with your packages. I'm happy to answer any remaining questions. Thank you.
Anything else you want to
So I
add
had
on that?
conversations with both Jesse Boyle of the fire department and also Andy Glenn, of Fuss & O'Neill, and so they got to the point where they were kind of satisfied with the changes. On one of the plan iterations, the cul-de-sac down to the right there was labeled Eagle Way. The fire department was concerned that it's being presented as a driveway, so that presented as a street they thought it set up a precedent to, the people would think that that's a public way or, even a private way that didn't meet standards. So that was their concern, but going through the process, they were, satisfied with the response they got from Beals and Thomas and the applicant. So went ahead. Andy Glines of Fuss O'Neill suggested some conditions to add to the decision, so that just to deal with two things. Then in their memo, they identified some issues with both kind of with the zoning bylaws and also with the subdivision rules and regulations, where there are kind of lapses where they provide definitions of roadways versus driveways. And so they kind of had some notes in there to suggestions to look at in the future. And they would go back and look at the subdivision regs and also the zoning bylaws to make changes to clarify those areas.
So is that still going to be a cul-de-sac, or is that, I know originally that's what we talked about, you had talked about, right? Yeah.
The fire department would like us to call it a shared circular driveway.
Yep.
Okay.
So I think it makes sense, because a cul-de-sac really, it makes you think of what would be at the end of this main subdivision roadway.
Right.
And when you see that sort of circular turning area that doesn't meet the dimensions for a true cul-de-sac, that's what kind of raised the red flag to them. So we talked about it. I mean, it's very small, so it could never meet the subdivision regulations for a true cul-de-sac. There's not even enough room there, and it wouldn't make sense. So we, discussed it with them. The reason that we had named it Eagle Way was on the advice of the building department to actually make it easier for emergency services to locate houses. But they said, we appreciate that, but we don't want to make it seem like a road, since it's not, since it's really just accessing a handful of homes. We'll do signage or, some kind of very clear numbering system, or whatever we end up working out with the fire department and the building department when the time comes. They were more than satisfied with that. So that's where that kind of all came from.
Okay. Comments from the board?
I know at the last meeting, it was said that, I believe, was it in Jesse's memo, that it was just short, the length last time? I remember the term just short, and Kevin had raised a good point in wanting to know, what did just short mean? Do we have an answer to that?
I don't have an answer to that. It didn't meet the subdivision regulatory dimensions in more than just length too. It really just didn't meet that, nor was it intended to.
So is the length currently 135 feet?
Correct.
Shown?
Yeah.
And I believe there was a number 160, I believe, when I was talking with Jesse, that required that, if you got up to 160, then you needed the full-blown circle at the end. So the just shy, I believe, is just 135 feet.
Okay.
But they've looked at it and they determined that they could get a truck into the site, and they believe they would have to make some turns to get out of there, but they're at this point satisfied. They were they had some other concerns regarding the language used to describe the ways within the development.
Okay.
Anybody else?
I'm all set.
I'm good, sorry. I was just reading Fuss O'Neill's. So I see in the proposed decision for the minor modification, we've included the number 3 in accordance with section 3963 of the zoning bylaw. The applicant shall have minimum distance of the buildings at least 1.2 times the height, and that was in Fuss O'Neill's thing, so I'm glad you incorporated that in the decision. Other than that, I'm okay.
Okay. Anything else, Jim, that we should know before we
That's pretty much it, yeah.
vote on that? Okay.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to approve the minor modification for Patriot Pines subdivision with the conditions that were laid out, that was submitted to us for the minor modification. The conditions are, number one, prior to the issuance of a building permit, a true copy of the record of the decision for the minor modification as registered at the Registry of Deeds shall be submitted to the board. Number two, the applicant shall conform to all conditions found in the planning board decision dated December 11, 2018 for the above captioned project, except as may be modified by this decision and minor modification. Number three, in accordance with the section 3963 of the Carver zoning bylaw, the applicant shall maintain a minimum distance between the buildings that is at least 1.2 times the height of the proposed buildings based on the final architectural building designs. Then there was some waivers. There was two waivers, section 7.3.5 G, waivers to approve request to locate low points in the street profiles in the cut area for Weather Vane Drive, approximately 2-foot cut at low point. And number two, section 7.3.5E, waivers for the request of the driveway curb cuts not be located 65 feet from the intersection. The proposed driveways for townhouse 23 and 24 are approximately 35 feet from the intersection. That's my motion.
Okay. A motion, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
For the young lady that is taking notes, we'll use the word insurance instead of issuance on the first condition, and
I'm okay.
second, section 7.3.7E, just so that we don't have to straighten
Thank
that
you,
out
sir.
later.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, moving right along. Minor modification, MG Lotus, 67 Main Street, map 61-1.0R. How you doing?
Hello,
Good evening.
good evening. Nathan Borges, just returning for a minor modification. Basically just removing the doors that were joining to the deck between the units.
Did you get that?
I did, I can't hear.
Oh, sorry.
I saw her, she was like,
I'll watch the clock.
Nathan Borges, just here for a minor modification, just doing the adjustment for the doors between the decks. We're open to remove them. We resubmitted the plans. Basically, they're exactly the same, just minus that door opening. There was already 2 points of egress for the garage, so that's basically it.
Mr. Chair, Bob Francis, the building commissioner, I met with Nathan and kind of reviewed his plans. Bob Francis didn't think there's any problem with the proposal, so we just asked him to come before the board just to formalize it so that moving forward, those plan adjustments are on the record.
Fish on the record. Yep. Any comments, discussion from the board?
Pretty straightforward.
with these,
Really, Mr. Chair, the only comment I had on the plans themselves, they didn't show a current revision date, so before we draw the
absolutely.
permit for that. And then also, there's a note there that talks about changes to the master bedroom ceiling joists, and just want to have Bob Francis just confirm that those changes are.
Oh, yeah, I think, I believe we got signed off. I can get you the paper from the engineer when we raise the ceiling up. Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So we just put them in as conditions so that way. And then it just, for the conditions, We just asked that it be recorded, the minor modification be recorded at the Registry of Deeds. The applicant shall conform to all conditions found in the planning board decision dated December 9, 2015. That was the original approval for the project. And then also that the applicant provided updated plans showing the correct revision date to the planning board and confirmation of the project revisions noted on the plan with the building commissioner prior to issuance of the building permit. And then any future modifications to the project must be approved in writing by the planning board. So those are the conditions that we have on it.
Make a motion to approve the minor modification for MG Lotus LLC for 67 Main Street with the conditions that were presented.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Nathan. Come back tomorrow, we'll give you a copy of this.
That's perfect.
Okay. Next is public hearing on the application of Bayberry Dunes LLC requesting a site plan review pursuant to sections 3100 of the Carver zoning bylaw located at North Main Street and Lillian Way in Carver. The proposed building use will be wholesale, warehouse, and distribution in the general business district.
All right, Mr. Chairman, on this matter, the applicant has requested a continuance to the September 10th meeting. We had a little struggle getting some documents in and being able to be reviewed by our engineer, Fussin O'Neill. Also, Mr. Ford, the health agent, also reviewed the plans for the septic system and noted some items that need to be changed on the plans. So we sent that information over to the applicant, and then they'll be making those adjustments between now and the September 10th meeting.
Okay. Do we have to make a motion to officially move that to continue it to September 10th?
Yep.
I'll make a motion to continue that to September 10th.
Oh, I'll second. You could have.
Okay, motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'll be abstaining.
And one abstention. Okay. And then we have on another public hearing on the application of Next Sun Energy LLC requesting a special permit and site plan review pursuant to sections 3100, 3580-.60 and 5300 of the Carver zoning bylaw. I see that this wants to get continued as well to
Right,
September 10th.
so actually, at the previous planning board meeting,
We did that.
vote was to continue it to the September 10th.
Okay.
Because of the special permit, the applicant wanted a full board to vote on the matter.
Now, we already voted to continue that to September 10th, correct?
Right, that
So
was
we
it.
don't have to vote on that?
You don't have to vote again.
Okay.
Makes it easy.
Yep.
Jim's going for a record.
Discussion and possible vote on the application of Commerce Way Realty Trust, Vittorio Atriano Jr., trustee, 6 Commerce Way, Carver, requesting site plan review under section 3100 of the Carver zoning bylaw, located at Lot 2, Commerce Way, Assessors Map 21, Lot 2-2, to construct a new 2,730-foot square building for warehouse and storage use in an industrial B zoning district.
Okay, so at the previous meeting, the board did approve the site plan, subject to coming back with conditions. Because Member Mackey is not here tonight, I'm going to suggest that the board take a fresh vote on the matter so that way there's no grounds for appeal for technicalities. And then we do have, if I can do is read the conditions. So this is for a site plan review. So the conditions we're recommending: prior to the issuance of a building permit, a true copy of the recorded decision is registered at the Plymouth County Registry of Deeds, shall be submitted to the board. Number 2, the project must be constructed as approved in the site plan. Any other revisions will require approval from the board as a modification of this decision. 3, any outstanding balance of the review and inspections deposit account shall be paid prior to the issuance of a certificate of use and occupancy. And number 4, failure to comply with any condition of this permit shall result in the immediate revocation of the said permit.
So we already approved the site plan review, correct? So how do we go about?
So Jim's just asking us where Bruce isn't here, just to approve the project and to approve all these conditions. Because we already did that once, but Bruce ain't here, just to make it cleaner, is that correct?
Right. So just to do a revote on the
Okay.
matter.
So there's no such thing as an unvote of our last,
Right, I think you just,
okay,
yeah.
all right. So I entertain a motion to approve the site plan review.
Since I made the first one, I'll make this one. Make a motion to approve the site plan review for 6 Commerce Way, Lot 4, with the conditions that were presented.
Should it be lot 2?
Up to,
I think it's lot 2.
Did I say that?
You said to 4.
I'm okay tonight.
Yeah,
Or
lot
lot
4,
time.
not lot 2, Kelly, okay?
Don't tie.
well, no one's seconding the lot 4 one.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah.
Thank you for clarification. I'm getting it from my compadre down the end, and you too. So that's okay. At least you guys are paying attention to me.
You're just trying to test the new chairman for interim chairman there, thanks. Okay, so we have a motion and, can we
Okay,
get a
I'll second.
Motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions, pass unanimous.
Be quiet, I'll let you guys read.
That was great.
So that was voted with the conditions, correct?
That's correct. Okay.
Right. Planning board member notes. Anyone have any member notes that they'd like to bring up?
I have none.
No?
I do not have any either.
Okay, we got zipping, I like this. Planning director notes.
Just some matters that come before the department. You know, we've been dealing with the property owner who had a subdivision done apparently in the mid-90s. And through their approval, there was a roadway that was created into the property known as the Yellow Brick Road. And so the property owner has people continuously stealing the signs. And so in the past, the department has, the Public Works Department has provided signage, but with the new director, he did it once and they said, oh, I'm not supposed to do it for a private way. So the individuals coming in, they're requesting that the town look at accepting it as a public way. So what we'll be doing is just having it come before the planning board to have a discussion at the next meeting. And then that will sort of determine, the process. So typically for road acceptances, they would start at the planning board, then go up to the Board of Selectmen. They would determine whether or not that gets onto the town meeting warrant, and then town meeting would have to vote on acceptance of a way. So we just told her that we'd have her in here just to have a discussion first to see which, what the thoughts are of the planning board. So I just wanted to give you a heads up on that.
Okay.
And other than that, nothing else.
Okay.
Other than I do have some paperwork for you to sign.
Next is the minutes from August 13th meeting. Which I think everybody got copies of emailed every time, right? Just have a quick question before we go over the minutes. Jim, the next meeting, we were going to have that training, is that still on?
Yes.
That's
so
for 6 o'clock?
September 10th at 6 PM.
Okay. That's what we're talking. Accept the minutes.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes if everybody else has finished reading them. As is.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Next meeting date, September 10th. I think we have a little bit of a few items to talk about on September 10th.
Busy night.
And then a reminder, we have our training at 6 o'clock. And where will that be? In the-
We haven't set a location, but
Okay.
maybe it'd be in the room adjacent to the main meeting room. It's a small meeting room next to the main
Selectmen's
meeting
meeting
room.
room.
Selectmen's meeting room.
Okay, perfect.
Will?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.